Hello again. Today we're going to take a look at that Soundpeats Air 4, their wireless earbuds. Now it's provided these free for review. I'm not getting paid for the review, but just to make it clear, these were sent to me free of charge. These are not something I would typically buy or normally review on this channel, but content is content, and I appreciate them reaching out. So we will take a look. They did take the time to send this to me. They responded to some of the questions I had. They were very easy to deal with. So the least I can do is take the time to put up the video. So again, here we have the Soundpeats Air 4. Obviously it'll come in a box. In the box you'll get a small Type-C charging cable. You get this charging case, you get the buds, you'll have a user manual. Now this has Bluetooth 5.3. It does aptX lossless, AAC, and SBC. The case has a 330 mAh battery, and the earbuds are 35 mAh each for their batteries. The advertised total playtime is 26 hours. Now, I guess I roughly got that. I seem to average between 6 to 8 hours per charge, closer to the 6 more often than not for the buds. And I do get, I'd probably say 3.5 charges out of the case before that's completely drained. So as far as battery life, I've had no complaints there. It does seem to at least get close to the specs. It does claim to have active noise canceling. It says in the advertising, it says adaptive ANC, effective denoising solution. So I don't know if it's like they're going around some semantics or whatever, but it is a feature that is in the app. Unfortunately, I can't show you the app in detail because the app is on the phone I'm using to record with. But the app, very easy to use. It basically allows you to select EQ profiles, allows you to turn on and off active noise canceling. And for the most part, that's about it. There's not really too much in there. Now, as far as the case, I already told you the battery's in it. It does have USB-C. Takes about, I want to say, it was roughly 2 hours, hour and a half or so for the case to charge. And what you will see is a light right here that'll show you that it's charging. It'll be flashing. And when you open it up, that light will come on. It'll let you know the battery status. Now, I think I just created a problem. I want to pull these out, but I'm almost certain they are going to pair with this phone. So let's see if I can fix this real quick. Alright, let's see if I can turn off Bluetooth, and hopefully that'll save me. Now again, and this magnet is really good. Like, these things are not going to fall out. So you close it. And as far as connections, once I paired it to something once, as soon as I pop it out the case, every time I've had no issue at all with it connecting automatically to my phone, regardless of whether I'm just pulling one bud out or two. And hopefully you can see, there are little fingerprints and stuff all over them now. Now hopefully you can see these are the type that just sit on your ear. And I understand for some people that's not an issue, for others it is. Unfortunately, I happen to be one of the people that cannot wear IMs like this. They don't fit right. I find them to eventually be uncomfortable, and it's not just these. It's all of the ones that sit on my ear like this. The only ones that I found comfortable that sit on my ear Oh, what did I do with it? I had it right next to me too. Right when I was getting ready for this. Oh, this is unfortunate. Let's see. See if I can do this without causing a disaster. Okay. Alright. Sorry about that. Okay. Now these old school little Sony cheap things. I actually found these brand new in a Goodwill for like I think it was $2.99. But I think even new they're only like $13. They're not bad. But these comfort fit fine, but it's because of these rubber silicone sleeves that go over it that saves these. These have none of that. They're just hard plastic all around. They do have spots for the microphones, and everything I read seems to indicate that these only have 2 mics each side. It may even be one. Let's see. No, I am mistaken. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure what to take of that, because it says it has a 6 mic system. So it's either 3 on each side or 6 on each side. I imagine 3 on each side, given the holes. But as far as the active noise canceling, like, you would think that's what they would be there for, what they'd help the most with. But the active noise canceling is kind of an afterthought, regardless of the fit issue I have or not. Now, getting past the comfort and everything, if something like this can work for you, then great. Like, you can continue watching this, and hopefully you'll have a better experience than I have had with these. Now, by no means was my experience bad, but we're talking about a product, I also haven't mentioned the price yet, but we're talking about a product that'll cost anywhere from $49.99 to $89.99. I'm currently looking at their website, and it has it listed at $89.99. Although I believe there's a link and coupon code that I was provided in an email that'll have these for $49.99. Now, at $89.99 right off the bat, I'm concerned, because I don't know anybody that these actually fit. Like, they're not exactly small, and this section's rather big. Like, it seems my son has the Apple AirPods, and they are smaller, like very similar in shape, like the old school ones he has. That he does have the ones that go in your ear, but the older ones that sit like this, they're still a little more comfortable, and he was having an issue getting these to sound good and fit well securely in his ear. Now, in my ear, they fit securely. Like, I don't have to worry about them falling out necessarily. But I do have an issue with the sound because of this design. Like, you get a lot of emphasis on the consonant region, and it can make it unpleasant. It could take a whole lot of bass out, make stuff sound very thin. And when you turn on the active noise canceling, it kind of brings back, it actually doesn't cancel any noise, but what it does do is make these sound closer to what you expect an IDM to sound like. You get body back, you get a little bit of bass back, it sounds more natural. Like I said, it sounds closer to something like this and less like a sound, I hate to say it, like, I don't want to go burning bridges at the moment, but you don't get that cheap dollar store earbud sound, that really thin, tinny sound, which you do get just placing these on your ears if you don't have a good seal and don't have active noise canceling on. They do sound bad without the active noise canceling on. But with that on, they do sound more natural. But the problem is, again, the fit. You lose a lot, and it's a shame. It really is, because these have a 13 millimeter dynamic in there. It has a polyurethane surround, but it also has, what is it? A biofiber composite dome. And they actually are very capable drivers. Like if you push it in your ear and you actually get a seal, which is impractical because you just can't get that kind of seal without holding them. I don't even imagine people that get a good fit with these, just place them in their ear, could get that good of a seal. But when you do get that good of a seal, the technicalities are actually pretty impressive. So I would love to hear this driver, but using a conventional ear tip design. Now, I asked them about that in an email, and they basically responded telling me that wasn't the focus of this range. This range is for comfort, the design aesthetics, and they actually said that was part of their choice for the sound signature. Now, I can get behind the first 2 points made, but as far as the sound signature part, I don't actually see it. It really does nothing good for the sound the way it is outside of a nice sound stage. Now at $50, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem because you're getting a lot here for $50. They have good range. Like I can leave my phone in the bedroom, go into the bathroom, still hear everything without anything cutting out, without anything getting out of sync, any of that. So they perform in that regard very well. They have good battery life. It's just, they could be so much more than they are with nothing more than a conventional design that goes in your ear with silicone tips. Like that would be a game changer and make these an incredible value at $50. I'm sure it's possible. It's not possible. It's actually likely you'd lose the soundstage it does offer, because it does offer a wonderful soundstage. It's actually nice and wide. It's very well separated. It has height, width, depth. Like, it's kind of impressive. Like, it really does feel like a very good driver in there. It's just all keeps coming back to that fit. And these are big. As far as wearing them, maybe it's just me being insecure or something. I don't know. I just feel like when I had these in, people just kept staring. Because they do, like here, they don't look so big. But in your ear, this stem hanging down it's a rather long, big stem. And I don't have the smallest ears, but it comes well past my ear. Like, I mean, it doesn't really help, but these are kind of chunky. And it's understood that they'd be chunky. I mean, got a battery in there. They're nice size. Well, I think the driver in this is 13 mil too. But big driver, battery, electronics, understandable. It is. It's just what could have been in my case. Really not sure how to proceed with this at the moment, because again, it's not necessarily something that works for me. Like, I can give you an assessment that it sounds great if I have it plugged in my ears, but that's impractical. Or I could go on and say, it doesn't sound all that good. You have to turn on active noise canceling to get a decent sound out of it. And even then, any IEM even close to this in price is gonna sonically sound better, just due to the simple fit, just due to these simple things here. I mean, these are more, in my opinion, for someone who wants to go out on a run, who isn't focused on active noise canceling for exercising. You just need background sound. $50, great. Now when you're at the $90, $100 mark, where I'm seeing these listed at, I guess that's supposed to be their MSRP. It's really hard for me to want to sit here and give any heap praise on them. As you I really am struggling, because at that price, there's the JBLs. They have a lot of options. They have all the same features these have. Active noise canceling that is certainly not in the league of where Apple stuff is. It at least makes an attempt. Like, if you turn active noise canceling on with this, you don't notice. The only thing you notice is the music, or whatever podcast, the call. The only thing you notice is things get a warmer tone to them. Everything goes from that tinny sound to a more natural, fuller sound. But as far as removing background noises, it's not going to happen. And that is, again, something I asked in the email, and they said that wasn't their priority with this product. And that's when they go on to mention the whole comfort and all that, the other stuff I mentioned previously. Now, again, I get it, but if that's not your purpose, why advertise it when it doesn't do anything? If you're okay with it not doing anything, why put it there in the first place? It seems like extra costs put into it, unless if it's not really doing active noise canceling and all it is doing is an EQ adjustment. It's very strange. I don't know, and that's actually what I suspect. Because I asked if there was going to be any firmware release that will improve the ANC performance, and at least before I released this video, and I was told no. And all the stuff I already previously mentioned. I don't know, as far as competition, again, the JBL has a lot of stuff, a lot of these type of IMs, even ones that plug directly in your ear. It's all the same features. So I don't want to sit here and convince you that you should not buy these, because they do have their use cases. I have had not one single issue connecting this to any device, and I have not had one single issue where I have pulled these out and it didn't connect. They work every single time. Battery life is good, and I've had a fair amount of use put on these, and I'm still not noticing any change in the batteries. Charge them every day. I have fallen asleep. Right before bed, I take these out, put them in, start up a podcast, fall asleep, and sometimes if I get a full 8 hours of sleep, I'll wake up, they'll be dead. If I'm sleeping 6 hours that night, I'll wake up and they'll still be playing stuff from the podcast and stuff. It seems to depend more on volume, so if I have it really low, I can get it almost to a full night's sleep, but generally I'm right around that 6 hour mark. I don't know. Unfortunately, hopefully they understand my take on this, honestly, because I would love to hear this driver leave the ANC out, put it in one of these completely wireless things, except with the tips. Like they do have, what is it, the Capsule 3 Pro. Unfortunately, I do not know the cost of that. That is apparently geared towards the things I've asked for or asked about. Apparently, that's their answer to all my concerns, is the Capsule 3 Pro. Now, I don't know the specs, but I do know how good these sound when they're pushed in your ear and held there. You get that seal. Like, there's quality in here, and that's what I find the worst part to understand. It's these had so much potential, and just because you chose this design, it limited what that driver is able to do. But again, I think it's clear that these aren't specifically for people like myself, or probably people like you guys who are all about the audio quality. This is for somebody who just wants a distraction. And if that's all you're after, and you're looking in that $50 mark, I don't think you'd be disappointed. I do think someone could buy these and be very happy for a long time. I mean, you after extended use, you do, at least, I definitely want to stress that, at least with ANC on, you get used to it, and it does become an enjoyable experience. It is nice, but then you go back to your other stuff and you kind of remember how good other cheap stuff can be. But I'm also comparing things that are nothing more than like a driver and a wire for similar play, as opposed to charging case, batteries, Wi-Fi tech. So kind of there. Again, I can't say, yeah, you gotta buy these. And there's definitely a lot I'm leaving out of this review, but I'm just focused on the main functionality of this product. And for me, in my world, for what I want, this unfortunately doesn't fit my needs. It is not something that I would spend my own money on. If it's just this design, period, I would not buy any IEM with this design. It just wouldn't happen. Again, the only reason why I have these things, because it was $30. And the whole purpose was actually to pull the drivers out of those and to use them with something else. Ooh, some of you guys might get a kick out of this. So when I was digging around looking for this box, I came across these things that I haven't seen in years. I actually found the Discman, the CD player, that these came with too. I think, what are these, like 93, 92, something like that. And what's crazy is they still work, they still sound good. And this is the sad state that we're in right here. Without having these pushed in my ear, just put them in. If someone asked me what I would rather listen to, it would be these. Technically, they're nowhere near as good as those. But even though they just go in your ear, sideways and blast music in, everything's nice, full-bodied, smooth, good bass, or at least acceptable bass. Whereas I'm not getting that with these. Again, I'm getting a noisemaker, an IEM for podcasts. What I am not getting is something to enjoy music with. Now, I'm sure there are other options that do have the tip inserts sound leagues better, because this driver in here is it really is very capable. I would love to see someone rip these apart, take these drivers and put them in an actual shell and get some control on them, get a good seal on them, have them properly dampened. I'm willing to bet it would be pretty impressive, because when you do get your fingers on there and you get it all sealed, the bass becomes tight and powerful. Vocals have almost a perfect body, maybe a hint of boominess. Treble is nice and controlled, smooth and extended. And the detail is really impressive. Like, even for a $50 range, like I am, something like the, oh hell. Why am I blanking at the moment? Like stuff like the Zero and stuff. Like, it really is competitive with that when it's pushed and held in. I don't know who could have it sound like that, though, without doing what I did. Like, does anybody wear IEMs like this and get a good seal? I don't know if it's a possible thing. I know in my life, I have never been fortunate enough to have one of these IEMs, be it the wireless ones or just old school ones shaped like this. I have never been able to get them to fit right. Like, even those old Apple ones from the old iPods that used to come with these things, I've never been able to use them either. They just would not sit in my ear right. So with that case, I'm unfortunately the wrong person. Like, these just might not work for me and for my anatomy. So it's rather unfortunate that I can't give a more glowing, positive review and scream a recommendation and say everybody has to buy these. All I can say is they seem to be very dependable. They work every time. They are certainly acceptable for anyone who just wants something for background. They are perfectly acceptable for listening to podcasts. Movies can get a little iffy at times, because without a good seal, you definitely got to make sure you angle them right as well. If you don't have a good seal and you're just getting in there, like, just like some other stuff I've talked about recently, like the position matters. And with these, it's even more important, because you're relying on the plastic to kind of make some sort of seal. So without at least a little bit of seal, you get a lot of sibilance, and things can get fatiguing. And it seems to really show its ugly face when you're watching movies or trying to listen to something like rap. Like, it really becomes pronounced in those cases, and you'll know when you don't have it fit right. And that leads me to another unfortunate thing. And that is, okay, when you do take the time to get it fit right, try going for a run. Apparently, something like this is supposed to be made for that type of comfort. I would imagine that's like why you would want something in this design, so you can still hear your environment. But as soon as you start moving, they shift a little bit. And what little seal you have ends up breaking, and then they become slightly fatiguing. So it almost takes away from that use case. And again, it is mostly alleviated with when you turn on active noise canceling. But with that on, I also notice I'm getting less battery life. Now it's not much because I don't know. I honestly think the active noise canceling is an EQ. I really do. It's almost like it drops everything from the upper mid range to the lower treble, just down like 5 or 6 dB, which is kind of needed to get rid of that thinness sound. And it does sound good like that, but I don't know. All I can say is, again, that they're dependable. They seem to be built well. They are very light plastic. They are a little chunky. The case, however, is actually very nice. It fits in the pocket really nicely. You see the charging contacts in there. I've had no issue at all. Again, no issue at all as far as functionality of them. Gaming, though, I probably should have led with this, because gaming is kind of where these shine. Even though, because most of the time when you're gaming, you're just sitting down, so you can get them positioned just right. You have their active ANC turned on, so everything sounds relatively natural. And that nice sound stage it has, it sounds like these kind of give you the open back headphone type feel. And so you get this nice sound stage, you have this wonderful, like, the directional information, and it's very precise. You get elevation. Like, these are actually pretty darn good for gaming. I didn't notice any lag. And these do also have a gaming mode. Now, I didn't discuss any of the use features. It's all tap controls, like a lot of stuff. Like, man, these are old. These are only other things I really had to compare to, and the price really kind of wasn't fair. But I figured since these were very old, that it would be somewhat reasonable to compare them. These are the Samsung Gear Icon X's. And unfortunately, even though those are old, they also are the type that go in your ear. And because of that, it's just kind of unfair. They do sound much better. It's just those are so old, I can't actually take them out anymore because the batteries are basically shot. I get maybe an hour on the right side and probably an hour and a half, 2 hours on the left. It's just they're not balanced anymore. And yeah, so I didn't end up using the game mode. I didn't feel it was needed, but these do have a game mode. It's 3 taps on the left side. That'll turn on game mode, but again, while I was gaming, I don't know if it's thanks to my phone or what, but everything stayed in sync and was actually an extremely enjoyable experience gaming with those. So if you just need something for background sound while you're exercising, or you want something wireless for gaming, there you go. But if you're an audiophile and you're trying to get the best sound you can for your money, other options. Wired. Check out some JBL stuff, because I know people rip on them a lot, but they really do as far as value and acceptable sound for at least this market. They really are right there. They're probably, I mean, you can get some really good JBLs for under $100 wireless. So, over $50 mark, I don't think you stay in that $50 mark, and I think it's like the golden zone for this. At $50, this definitely has a place in the market for all the reasons I stated before. I don't want to go again on and on because I'm just not necessarily the right person for this design. Now, I would love to hear what they have on offer that uses ear tips like these, for instance. Unfortunately, my money does have to go elsewhere because these type of products here seem to be where the interest is, and it's definitely where my interest is. But so it's hard for me to put out. I mean, $100 may not be a lot to you guys, but it's hard to just throw $100 plus out on something like this just for the sake of a video I make nothing on. And I'll use it for the video and probably I'll never use it again because of things like this SimGot EM6L or the EA500, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Anyway, again, I'm just sorry this couldn't be a more positive one. It's certainly not a negative one. It's just a not for me one. It doesn't fit my ears. But again, gaming, exercising, I have had no issues with it falling out my ear. What I will do though is I'm gonna release this, put this up. Kind of has a prequel, a long-winded, overthought, not thought out review, just a heat of the moment. I had some free time, so let's hurry up and get this done type of review. But what I will do next couple days, I'll get a little more information. Hopefully I'll be able to find the box for this. I'm gonna do a shorter one, and I want to see if I can kind of find other use cases. I also want to see, because I did have a friend of mine say they used to they had this really thin, almost phone-like tape they said they used to put on their old ones. Not these, but whatever buds they had that were similar to the shape. I don't remember what it was they were, but they said they used to wrap something around here. So what I want to do is see what would happen if I just try to not necessarily modify, but just see what I can do by following his little tape rule or whatever, see if that helps anything, see if that helps the comfort for me, and possibly try to find some other use cases for these, because they do deserve probably a better chance than I'm giving them. They definitely deserve to be, well, I'm sure there will be other reviews out there on these, and hopefully one of the people reviewing these will have ears that these work for, and we'll be able to give that take on it. But I would at least like to try to understand that take, because I don't know if it's possible for anybody to get the sound that these are actually capable of reproducing. Like with that good seal, even with ANC off, you can get some impressive clarity, detail, soundstage, dynamics from these. And I was surprised how good it was when I did push them and hold them in my ear, because again, at the time I was under the impression these were going to be just $50 at all times. And for $50, very nice case. Perfect, fits in your pocket. Perfect, great, super dependable. Buds, perfect connections, super dependable. So is batteries and all of it. Like, there's a lot here for $50. A good driver. So it's really that driver and that hint of excellence. Wow. Excellence in this range. Don't get, when I say excellence, I'm not talking about perfection, stuff like that. We're still talking $50, but I want to understand if that good sound I heard when you push them in your ears is something that's possible without constantly being aware of them. Anyway, I have gone on for 40 minutes now. I have rambled. I have missed a lot of points, but I believe you guys have the gist of how I feel about this product anyway. If for some you are interested, there will be a link below. You can click that, get more information on it. You will have your discount code, and they should be $49.99. At that cost, as long as music listening and the quality of the music is not your priority, I can recommend them in that case. But if you're like me, like the people that probably normally watch my reviews, chances are these might not be for you. It all depends on the use case. And these have a use case that just doesn't fit my needs. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check the description for a link for your discount code for these. Please leave a thumbs up, a comment, and thank you guys for watching.